Rapa Nui, or Easter Island as it is more famously known, lies more than 2,000 miles off the coast of Chile, its parent country. The island is as mysterious as it is beautiful, and is mostly known for its monumental statues, the moai. Nearly 1,000 of these massive statues cover the island, and while their existence and significance still remain a mystery to this day, the island itself is home to another fascinating mystery: the Birdman cult. Birds were sacred animals to the people of Easter Island. They were often found in engravings, paintings, sculptures, and legends that came from this secluded location. Because the island is so isolated, there were no large mammals or reptiles, or any other animals at all for that matter. Birds provided meat and eggs to the people, so it only makes sense that a religious cult would arise from these animals. They believed that the birds had a mystical relationship with the gods. One bird in particular, the Manutara, which translates to luck bird, had special meaning to the people of Easter Island. This bird has been identified as the white-tipped tern, a migratory seabird that arrives on Easter Island every spring to lay its eggs. As foreigners discovered Easter Island and as the resources to create the massive moai dwindled, the island began shifting their faith to the mysterious Birdman cult. In Easter Island mythology, the deity Maki Maki was the chief god of the Birdman cult, and petroglyphs of Maki Maki have been found all over the island. In an attempt to keep things civil through leadership, the men of the island would compete every year to become the next chief. Through a series of trials, the men would compete to become Tangata Manu, or Birdman, and become Easter Island's new chief for a whole year. The contestants were chosen by the prophets of Easter Island, who claimed that the men they chose to compete would come to them in their dreams. Contestants would begin the competition in the village of Orongo, where they would pick 2 assistants to help them in their trials. The assistants would start by climbing down a 1,000-foot cliff face without any safety equipment. Those that survived the climb would then jump into the ocean and swim over half a mile to the Matonui Islet. This islet was where the white-tipped tern would lay their eggs every year. The assistants would then search the island high and low for the very first tern egg of the season. They would sometimes have to wait weeks for the birds to show up at all and lay their eggs. Once the egg was found, the finder would then go to the highest point of the islet and call to the shore of the main island. They would yell, "Go shave your head! You have got the egg!" The cry would be taken up by listeners at the shoreline, who would pass it up the cliffside to the contestants waiting in Orongo. The unsuccessful assistants would then have to swim back to the mainland, leaving the successful assistant to craft a reed basket to place the eggs safely in. The basket was then attached to their forehead, where they would begin the dangerous trek back to Orongo to present the egg to the contestant. Upon reaching the shore, the assistant would then climb the 1,000-foot cliff face again, and if they did not fall, would then present the egg to his patron, who would have already shaved his head and painted it either red or white at this point. The successful contestant, not the assistant, would then be declared Tangatu Manu, and would take the egg gently in their hands and lead a procession down the white coral sand beaches of Anakena. The new Tangata Manu was entitled to large gifts of food and drink, and his clan would have sole rights to collect that season's harvest of wild bird eggs from the islet. The new chief would then be directed to a special ceremonial house, where they would spend the next year eating, sleeping, and relaxing. He was considered sacred, and no one could approach him or touch him, not even his wife or children. For the first 5 months of his year-long status, he would grow out his fingernails and wear a headdress made from human hair. After a period of 1 year, the winner was then allowed to return to his normal life, accompanied by the respect and consideration of others in the village for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, the assistants never really got much recognition other than a few food offerings during the year, and even then they were not allowed to eat the food with any hand that touched the sacred egg. The assistants almost always died during the tests due to the intense climbing, the long swim, or the sharks that infest the waters around Easter Island. This entire competition system was created to distribute power between the tribes, but over time, the winning clans started preventing the other clans from participating in the competition, making sure that they never had the chance to win the crown, thus depriving them of the winning food supply. This caused a lot of tribal conflict, and stories of the conflict were passed down orally through horrifying legends throughout the years. Many of these conflict stories involved cannibalism. Because of this, the rules of the contest changed over the years, allowing for more than one Tengatu Manu per year. This was until the first Christian missionaries arrived at Easter Island and prohibited the entire event altogether. No one is certain when the competition first started, but many scholars pinpoint it to the mid-18th century. This strange and bizarre festival to crown the next chief is one of the lesser-known stories of Easter Island, but it is just as fascinating to imagine the people of the island participating in this insane event. Today, the spirit of the Birdman still lives in Easter Island, and while people aren't risking their lives like they used to, a large festival is held every February that honors the bravery and strength of the Easter Island people. Thank you for watching this episode, and I'll see you next time in the Library of the Bizarre.